Continuing with Numbers 33.1, Maaseh. These are the journeys of the children of Israel who went out of the land of Mitzrayim with their armies under the hand of Moshe and Aaron. And Moshe wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandment of the Lord. And these are their journeys according to their goings out. And they departed from Ramses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month. On the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all Mitzrayim. And Mitzrayim was burying all their firstborn, whom the Lord had smitten among them. Upon their gods also the Lord executed judgments. And the children of Israel removed from Ramses and pitched in Sukkot. And they departed from Sukkot and pitched in Etam, which is in the edge of the wilderness. And they removed from Etam and turned back to Pihahirot, which is before Baal Zephon. And they pitched before Migdol, and they departed from before Pihahirot and passed through the midst of the sea into the wilderness, and went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Etam, and pitched in Marah. And they removed from Marah and came to Elim. And in Elim were 12 fountains of water and 70 palm trees, and they pitched there. And they removed from Elim and encamped by the sea of Suf. And they removed from the sea of Suf and encamped in the wilderness of Sin. And they took their journey out of the wilderness of Sin and encamped in Dophkah. And they departed from Dophkah and encamped in Alush. And they removed from Alush and encamped at Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. And they departed from Rephidim and pitched in the wilderness of Sinai. And they removed from the desert of Sinai and pitched at Kivrot Hatava. And they departed from Kivrot Hatava and encamped at Hazerot. And they departed from Hazerot and pitched in Ritmah. And they departed from Ritmah and pitched at Rimmon Perez. And they departed from Rimmon Perez and pitched in Livnah. And they removed from Livnah and pitched at Rissah. And they journeyed from Rissah and pitched in Kehelatah. And they went from Kehelatah and pitched in Mount Shepher. And they removed from Mount Shepher and encamped in Haradah. And they removed from Haradah and pitched in Machilot. And they removed from Machilot and encamped at Tachat. And they departed from Tachat and pitched at Terah. And they removed from Terah and pitched in Mitkah. And they went from Mitkah and pitched in Hashmonah. And they departed from Hashmonah and encamped at Meserot. And they departed from Meserot and pitched in Ben Yaakan. And they removed from Ben Yaakan and encamped at Hor Haggidgad. And they went from Hor Haggidgad and pitched at Yotvatah. And they removed from Yotvatah and encamped at Avronah. And they departed from Avronah and encamped at Yezon Gever. And they removed from Yezon Gever and pitched in the wilderness of Zin, which is Kadesh. And they removed from Kadesh and pitched in Mahor, in the edge of the land of Edom. And Aaron the priest went up into the Mount Hor at the commandment of the Lord, and died there, in the 40th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Mitzrayim, in the first day of the 5th month. And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. And the Canaanite king of Arad, who dwelt in the Negev, in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. And they departed from Mount Hor, and they pitched in Zalmonah. And they departed from Zalmonah, and pitched in Punon. And they departed from Punon, and pitched in Ovot. And they departed from Ovot, and pitched in Yehavarim, in the border of Moab. And they departed from Yeim, and pitched in Devon Gad. And they removed from Devon Gad, and encamped in Almon Divlat Yamah. And they removed from Almon Divlat Yamah, Almon Divlat Yamah, and pitched in the mountain of Avarim before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Avarim and pitched in the plains of Moab by Yarden near Jericho. And they pitched by the Yarden from Bet Hashmot to Avel Hashtim, and in the plains of Moab. And the Lord spoke to Moshe in the plains of Moab by the Yarden near Jericho, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you pass over the Yarden into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their figured pavements, and destroy all their molten images, and devastate all their high places. And you shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land, and dwell in it, for I have given you the land to possess it. And you shall divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families, and the more you shall give them more inheritance, and to the fewer you shall give the less inheritance. Every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falls. According to the tribes of your fathers you shall inherit. But if you shall not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those whom you allow to remain of them shall be as thorns in your eyes and stings in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein you dwell. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do to you as I thought to do to them. That's Numbers 34.1. Maaseh.